Sanibonani molweni, hello, happy Heritage Month. My name is Ntomb'Yelanga The ZuluBhudha. I am an artist based in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal. I'm a creative. I create music. I create learning packages for children. I am a community activist, always striving for the preservation, promotion, and development of indigenous music. I'm currently focusing my work a lot on the reviving of the enjoyment of indigenous instruments and music. And that to me is a great joy to do. It keeps me excited, it makes my life fulfilling. But I also do work with Abantwana Abancane. I have a project called Abancane Art Academy where we help children with isiZulu, because it is very important that as part of our identity that we know our language, because of course language within itself carries culture and identity. And my work really excites me, and I'm always happy to be involved in programs that are promoting creativity and culture. To me, heritage is not something that I put on. It's who I am. It's a part of my life every day, because heritage is more than just the clothing. There's also the spiritual aspect of it, my relationship with my ancestors. There's also the creative part of it. Like, what are the things that my ancestors were practicing that are still valuable to me today? So those are things that are part of my heritage, and I cannot put them on or off. I have to live them. You live heritage every day. Of course, there's the heritage of land, because that's where Inkaba Zethu are, and we are connected to the earth, and so therefore Umhlaba and heritage go hand in hand. Spirituality and heritage go hand in hand. Our own views of the world and how things work and how to solve problems is all part of heritage. But I am very grateful that we do have a month where we can remember, for those who actually don't remember, that heritage is part of your everyday life. So yeah, it is important for us also, because ngesiZulu September means umandulo, and umandulo, it's when ulandulela ihlabathi, and you are cultivating the earth, you are taking what's underneath and bring it on top. And so now and again we need to do that with ourselves, that sizandule, more often, so that we are constantly in alignment with who we are and what we're here for. And so I'm really excited about this opportunity here right now to be talking to you all about my perspective about heritage and what I do as well. So I'm also an instrument maker. I make umakweyana, I make ugubu, I make umhrube. Umhrube is mostly from the Xhosa community of the mouth bows. We have what you call umangala, which I'm in the process of producing as well. And I find that these instruments really speak to my heart, because with indigenous instruments, it's not rocket science. The music is archived in our bodies. So the body itself will remind you how to play and how to make these instruments, even though there are people that I collaborate with who have been part of my journey with me while I find myself in what is my calling in terms of the preservation and the promotion of indigenous music. And it's part of my heritage. We are people of music, we're people of dance, we're people of storytelling, and those are the things that we need to carry with us consistently, because our story is consistent. Our story is there. Our story is life, and our story is life-giving. So it is quite important that we don't forget these things about our heritage, and to carry the flag forward as we continue growing and discovering ourselves and rediscovering ourselves, especially living in a westernized society whereby most of our cultural effects, our knowledge systems have been disrupted by the merging with the West, which merging is not a problem. But it is so important that as a person, no matter where you are, no matter who you're with, don't forget who you are. And who you are is directly linked with umsamo wakini, where who are your people? What are your people about? And what have you inherited from your people in the continuation of life and in the continuation of the story of our existence as people? So, kule nyanga kamandulo, siyabonga kakhulu that we have access to information, especially now that we're living in a space where social media plays such an important role. It's important that we feed ourselves with knowledge that empowers us, knowledge that grows us, knowledge that fulfills us as Black people, as African people, as indigenous people of the world. Let's not forget who we are. It is a practice. It is an everyday thing. No matter what influences we have, the value is within yourself. One of the reasons that actually I do Abancane Art Academy and doing the children's isiZulu learning charts is that I'm not saying that English is wrong or people shouldn't learn English or whatnot, but what I do emphasize is that empower your children with their own language so that one day when they need to access their deepest feelings and they need to access themselves, they have a language to use. Because then language invokes who we are. When you call me Ntomb'Yelanga, you are calling Ntomb'Yelanga. I can hear that, So there's power and there's value in our heritage and we need to own it. We don't need to get taught about it. We need to own it because our bodies themselves are an archive of sound. They are a memory of ourselves. They are a memory of our ancestors. They are a memory of everything that is divine and true that empowers us to be who we are. It's not I know it's not easy sometimes for other people to feel comfortable in terms of what it actually means to be an African Black person in Africa. We are very complex beings. We are experiencing a lot of discomfort currently because we are not centered within ourselves. I always say that if abantu understood imithetho yesintu, they would be so much happier. But because we do not understand the laws of isintu, we are doing things that keep on making us fall back in our glory as people. So my call out kule nyanga kaMandulo is that people need to claim themselves back. Take yourself back. Take your culture back. Take your traditions back. Take your identity back. And with time, we will know what is evolving and what needs to get left behind. But not everything is going to get left behind because there are fundamental truths about our identity, about our culture and our identity that is the root of who we are. And the root is what we don't want to lose, right? So that it keeps on being planted and flourishing and new fruits come up. And that is the cycle of life. So for me, heritage is an everyday existence. Don't forget that. Carry it with you in the way you carry yourself, in the way that you think, in the way that you do things. It is part of your identity. And even though people may be crying about land and desiring land and needing land and wanting land, it is important that our intentions for the land are also pure, because if our intentions are not clear about the land, we're not going to get the land back. Our farmers ready? Are our agriculturists ready? So that we can start cultivating, so we can start growing, so we can start, doing what we need to do. I mean, I need people who can show me where we can plant these trees that grow the sticks that we use to make our instruments, So once again, happy Heritage Month, divine being the truth. Wish you all the best and may you always find your true self. So as I said earlier on, I'm a musician. I make instruments and I play instruments traditionally, but I'm also a guitarist. I'm a vocalist, I'm a poet, and I'm a storyteller. And how I got into music was because I like to talk. And sometimes I realize that people listen to you more when you're singing it to them than telling it to them, because then you don't sound like you're lecturing them and overbearing them with information. But with music, it has been a very good medium for my release in terms of what I need to share with the people or what I've been called to share with the people. I really enjoy what I do, and I find it fulfilling for myself, and I find it empowering for myself, so that whatever is good for me is definitely good for the next person. Because there's no way that you willingly want to pass on something that it does not feel good. And isintu for me is there to help us maintain our goodness as people by being happy, by doing what we are called to do, and just by being available with your gifts and talents, because all of us have gifts and talents. And these gifts and talents are not for purely for our own enjoyment, but they are also there for the better good of those around us. So I also play the guitar. Storytelling is very important because then we are telling our own stories and we're passing them forward. The reason Sazi Ngwanegwane man is because there were people who are passing those Ngwanegwanes forward. And so the baton has been given to us and we are now crafting these new stories, weaving these new stories, and we want to tell these stories and then we pass them forward. Same with poetry, same with singing. Yeah. So today here I have one of my favorite instruments. This is ugubu. In the Zulu community, in the Xhosa community, uhad. They are the same instrument. Yes, they are the same, but we call it ugubu. So ugubu originally is, obviously the history of bow instruments, we can take it as far as our Khoi and San ancestors who used their bows while they were hunting and turned them into music. But breast bows came with the Ngunis, which would be the Zulus and the Xhosas, the Swatis and the Pedis, and I forgot the other one. But there's multiple groups, and KwaZulu we had ugubu. Umakweyana came from Mozambique side, even though this was still in the early 1700s. Umakweyana came from somewhere and became part of the community. That's why Princess Makoko would apparently share often that this is her favorite instrument because it's from her people. And so there are few people currently who play ugubu within our region of KwaZulu-Natal. Most people play umakweyana. One of my favorite people about umakweyana would be Ugogo Viki Lengema. You should check her out. She's really amazing, and she's one of my mentors in the music of umakweyana. So we have really interesting cultural history regarding these beautiful instruments. And so over the years, I've been following closely the history and the story of these divine indigenous instruments. The resonation in my chest when I play, it gives me so much bliss. It gives me joy. It inspires me. My creativity comes out even more just by engaging with these instruments. And I'm hoping to grow my collection and find out more from Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Zambia, because there's quite a lot of bow instruments in those regions as well. So now I'm just going to play for you ugubu. So the difference between ugubu and umakweyana is that ugubu is not pinched here. There's no wire that connects it to the stick, but generally it's just an open bow, resonation bow. Safika kwangqingete kwasibosa ngibuka usithula uzithwele uzibheka uzibhekile ayikho phela indlela ukuthi umuntu angaziphatha ngayo ukuthi azazi beka wona phakathi uyeyeni Yes, so that is the sounds of Ugubu. Thank you so much. And I just want to say thank you to JCFI and also to the NLC Council for this opportunity and for remembering us artists in this dire times of this pandemic and for helping many artists with their funding in terms of relief, because we all need relief from somewhere. Thank you very much and have a blessed day further.